This is not an accidental growth. It is the result of facing one's problems seriously and working hard without compromise. Luke and the others are really hardworking and excellent. After that, as long as they accumulate enough experience, they can definitely become beginner adventurers. Lefiya felt pure joy at the growth of the 7th squad. It's almost like she's grown up. At the same time, she also understood that this was probably the teacher's fun. However. But, today's dungeon, I feel disgusting. While feeling joy, Lefiya also felt a burning sensation in her neck. There is always a feeling of violation. These feelings of disobedience gradually accumulated, and the alarm bell sounded softly in the depths of my mind. There are no changes around, and there is no smell of dangerous monsters. So what is the violation I feel? Should I continue to observe? Or do you want to explore your surroundings until you determine the source of the violated feeling? Or should safety be the most important thing and back off? Now they are on the regular route on the 15th floor. The 7th squad itself is enough to deal with the abnormal situation at this level. Just when Lefiya was thinking of this premise alone. A scream. Dozens of bat monsters appeared at the rear, just above his head, making menacing sounds. They're just evil bats. Seriously, please don't scare us. Luke also kicked the wall and jumped like a whirlwind, tearing the group of monsters apart. They were still clearing the monsters without any problems, only Lefiya's face changed drastically. She shook her pointed elf ears, reacted suddenly, and looked around. Suddenly, the screams of countless monsters sounded at the same time, spreading everywhere. What's wrong? Will it be a large number of births? From a location far from the current location, the rocky plate exploded. They are also ready to fight. The evil bat has almost no ability to fight directly, but this bat-shaped monster will use that strange sound wave to disrupt the adventurer's actions. Hearing these dozens, if not hundreds, of monsters constantly emitting strange sound waves, Cole, the werewolf with excellent hearing, couldn't help but cover his ears. As Luke said, this is the birth of a large number of evil bats. Exactly. This is the sense of incongruity that Lefiya felt. It could be said that there must be an evil bat hiding in the shadow of the cave labyrinth, but she didn't see it. Except for the relatively large, abnormal situation, the absolute number of monsters in each layer of the dungeon is fixed. Perhaps the dungeon wanted to breed all the evil bats, so at that moment, the bats that had disappeared now made the sound of croaking throughout the entire 15th floor. They were not born from the wall, but from the ceiling, and broke through the rock plate. By the time Lefiya realized the clear crisis, it was already too late. Above Nano's head, the ceiling where the evil bat was born collapsed as if it was losing its balance. Falling down, the sublimated family members kicked the ground with quick reaction speed. They let out a clashing sound, let out a scream, and did their best to avoid it. The byproducts of the large number of bats caused continuous roars like building collapses, and the shock and vibration enveloped the entire floor. Then, Nano. On one side were Nano, Milia and Cole. On one side is Luke. A huge stone slab fell in the middle, dividing them into 3 and 1. Luke quickly stretched out his hand. Before his eyes, the stone tablet blocked Nano's mute figure. Luke, no. Lefiya put an arm around the body of the boy who was trying to chase his companion and jumped up. And as if she affirmed her intuition, even the floor gradually collapsed. Lefiya jumped into the side hole, trying to escape the violent avalanche. Elsewhere. Loki. Something went wrong. Ace and the others had been resting in the room since morning until now, and at this time. Panicked footsteps sounded and Elfie rushed in. It is said that the middle level of the dungeon has collapsed on a large scale. The guild is in a mess now. When I asked carefully, it seemed that the 15th floor had collapsed in the center of the cave labyrinth, and all routes were blocked. The collapse spread across several floors and is now impassable from the 14th floor down. Where are the students in the school district? Ace asked first. The life and death of immature students, especially if a junior, is safe. Students from the school district have to go through formalities in the guild before going to the dungeon, so the number is very clear. Most of them seem to have returned to the ground. However, it seems that 2 teams, they didn't return. Elfie, after explaining intermittently, she said with a pale face. One of them appears to be Lefiya's 7th squad. Upon hearing those words, Ace and the others stood up. Come on. Rescue Lefiya. Well, just dig up the rocks hard and move on. Tiona and Tioni became extremely brave because their companions were in danger and Ace was about to follow. However, only Loki was still sitting on the sofa, uttering a restraining voice at the back of the family. Calm down. As long as he doesn't get crushed by the rock slab, Lefiya will be fine. That child is a level 4 super Lefiya, isn't he? The number of blessings is not small. In other words, at least Lefiya isn't dead. Hearing Loki's words, Tiona's overheated minds immediately calmed down. Forcibly digging through the collapsed rocks and moving forward will only cause a second disaster. You must have special equipment and the help of wizards. Ganesha and the like must have already acted. Go and fight. They're cooperating. Tioni, go to command. Understood. Let's go tell Finn and the others. Ace and Tiona should go too. You can take all the members of the guild hall with you. Yes. Me, I'm going too. Tioni, Tiona, Ace and Elfie ran out. After Loki gave the instruction, she was left alone here in an instant, and a deep sigh sounded in the spacious living room. Obviously that child is in a critical period. I really don't understand the atmosphere. She got up and walked to the window. Looking towards the central square now surrounded by noise, the god complained. No matter how peaceful the city is, the dungeon is still the dungeon. Lefiya asked the boy as he was kneeling next to her on the floor. Dash, are you well? This is a fork on the 15th floor. A narrow cave that is far from the normal route. They escaped a good distance away. The large-scale collapse of the ceiling is fatal, even if it is a second-level adventurer, Lefiya, you can only choose to escape. Now there is also a cloud of smoke and dust around. Lefiya wrinkled her face unconsciously. Nano. Cole, Milia. Damn. The boy kneeling on the ground clenched his fists and swung them down. Luke ignored his ragged breathing, wasting away with helplessness, shaking with undirected rage. Lefiya, who was watching him from the side, couldn't help but lick her tongue for the first time since she was born. If it had been Finn, Riveria, or Gareth, they would have sensed the change and immediately given instructions to retreat. They must not make stupid choices and want to explore the reason for the feeling of disobedience, with students as the object of protection. Just by becoming level 4, you mistakenly think you are omnipotent. I'm really still a long way behind. Lefiya, who put Nano and the others in a dangerous situation, cursed herself inwardly. Luke, breathe in. Then exhale slowly. After your breathing has stabilized, please answer my question. Lefiya did not show the slightest emotion towards her embarrassing self and instantly changed her mindset. Her voice probably touched some of Luke's rationality, and he took a deep breath when she said it, and stood up. Is this the first time the 7th team has suffered a breakdown? During the school district field investigation, did you encounter a similar accident? Yes. In the southwest of the continent. Once at the relics, we almost died. The entire ruins collapsed. At that time, we waited for others to rescue us and finally survived. So, Nano and the others must not panic in the worst-case scenario. Although they are now in the dungeon, since they have experienced it once, they must know the basic countermeasures. The difference between the two is very important. Never get lost, which in the dungeon means you can greatly increase your survival rate. The problem is that Nano and the others have a high probability of falling to the ground below. The fulcrum of the area where the collapse occurred has fallen. Nano and the others who disappeared deep into the rock plate may also be sucked in. Luke was pulled in. A moment before running away, Lefiya saw the floor collapse. Why? Right now. Looking at the profile of Lefiya, who was calmly analyzing the situation, Luke widened his eyes and said in a trembling voice. Why are you so calm? Now I don't even know if Nano and the others are safe. Of course he would have that question. Separated from the companions who have accompanied him for many years, Luke's heart cannot be very stable. It must have been difficult to even keep calm. If she were in the same position as him, if she separated from Elfie and the others, Lefiya would also be a little shaken.